All right, with the new Chop Shop DLC in GTA Online, we have a new business property, and this one is probably one of the better ones for sure when it comes to having fun, as well as the money making opportunities that you guys can have from this. So today's video is going to be a full breakdown and guide on the new Chop Shop Salvage Yard business, as well as how to make money with it, and some more details as well. So if you guys want to see more about GTA Online, you already know what to do. Subscribe and put on post notifications, and don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy this. So to get started with the new business property, we'll first get a call from Yusuf, giving you some details about it, and you'll be able to purchase on the Maze Bank Foreclosures website. So there's 5 different locations. Let's break them down real quick. So we got Paleto Bay, we got Sandy Shores, Strawberry, La Puerta, and also Murrieta Heights. Honestly, don't even look at Sandy Shores or Paleto Bay. They're way too far from the missions. They might be the cheapest out of them all, but it's gonna honestly be one of the worst experiences that you're gonna have to drive like 6 miles just across the whole map to do missions every single time. So don't even look at those. Even if you're a new player, I highly recommend just saving and get one of the ones in the city. So for the cheapest one in the city, that is Murrieta Heights for $2,420,000. For Strawberry, that is going to be $2,570,000. And La Puerta being the most expensive out of them all for $2,690,000. Now, sometimes in the GTA update, the location doesn't matter at all. Other times, the most expensive one is actually the best location. Other times, not really. In this case, the most expensive is actually not a good location at all. So it's the one in La Puerta. That one, the problem with that location is the fact that it's really just crowded with a lot of stuff kind of blocking the route to get there. If you can see what I mean in the gameplay, it's just a lot of things blocking it. The route isn't the easiest, but the biggest thing is the fact that there's actually a gang attack here, which can obviously affect your gameplay with driving vehicles in and out and them shooting at you. And supposedly when a gang attack actually does happen, you can't get access to your salvage yard, which is just dumb. So I'm assuming that's probably a bug, but having to switch lobbies or do what you got to do to get out there is just way too much, and the entrance is already bad enough. So I highly recommend just going with Strawberry or Murrieta Heights. Honestly, I think Strawberry is the best one because when it comes to the entrance, it's just a lot more easier. It's just straightforward. Murrieta Heights isn't that bad as well if you have the vehicle workshop there, or the vehicle warehouse, I should say. That's also like really right next to it. It's honestly not that bad. It's just like a little parking lot. So it's up to you. But those are the 2 I recommend from Strawberry or Murrieta Heights. The price wise isn't that much expensive. They're not much of a difference. And of course, obviously, it's just really when it comes to preference. But regardless, most of the missions that you're doing when it comes to these robberies are going to be in the city. So between those 2, it really doesn't matter which one you pick. Again, it's just up to you. But again, stay away from La Puerta, even though it's the most expensive, just has some issues, and the other 2 are just way too far. So I recommend not even looking at those. All right, let's get into the customization. So first, you have tints. You have a few different colors that you could choose from. This one doesn't really affect anything. Of course, you do have to pay if you want to change it, but you have gray, you have black, blue, red, whatever is up to you. And then the next option is going to be get trade rates, which is $450,000. This pretty much just actually gives you a benefit, which is the fact that you'll receive a discount when you get your vehicles from Moors Mutual, and also a discount on repairing vehicles at LS Customs. And this is just a one-time payment, so this actually does help you out a lot when it comes to other stuff in GTA Online. So this is something I do recommend getting. So that obviously is going to increase the price by a decent amount. Next up is the tow truck. This actually doesn't have anything to do with the new robberies, but this is like kind of like a side task. We'll talk more about this a little bit more. And it's up to you if you want to get the tow truck or the tow truck beater. They're the exact same thing. The tow truck beater is just like more uglier. So if you don't really care about the looks, then just go for the tow truck beater. But if you want the more classier upgraded version, I guess, then get the regular tow truck for $1.1 million. It's up to you, of course, and you can even change the color too if you want to in the shop for like, I think it's $7,500, so nothing too crazy. And then by the way, the price for the tow truck beater is $650,000, so it's somewhat of a difference. And after that, we have the wall safe. If you want to get that, of course, this is just the same thing that's like in every business with just having money being produced throughout just doing the robberies as well as the tow truck business stuff. So if you want to make money from that, kind of passive income, then I recommend getting that for sure. And the price is $750,000. And for the staff, this just pretty much speeds up the process when it comes to salvaging parts, which again we'll talk more about. And the price for that is $625,000. So overall, if you fully upgrade this, it's going to be about $5 million. Of course, there's things that you want to get, things that you don't want to get. It's up to you. But overall, just know the price is going to be around $5 million when it comes to the full upgrade, depending on which one you pick, of course. So once you actually get to the location, you'll have a cutscene with Yusuf as well as his cousin Jamal, just giving you a bit of a rundown, just a funny overall cutscene. But then you'll be able to get started with the new robberies. So when it comes to these robberies, they're actually on a weekly schedule, which kind of makes it bad. So there's 3 vehicles for this week, which is the Weevil, Fire, as well as the new Omagio. And pretty much, you can see the price of how much you're going to make if you decide to give it to Yusuf, or if you want to give it for parts. Now there's also a third option where you can actually keep the vehicle for yourself, but it seems that has to be a vehicle that's actually under 80k supposedly, or at least that option is not available yet. I highly doubt Rockstar's going to let us keep a $2.8 million car or whatever for free just because we stole it during a heist type of thing. So I'm assuming that's not how it's going to be, but regardless, at least for now, those are the 2 options that you have. And for these 3 vehicles this week, there is actually 3 different robberies. Now there's actually a total of 5 for this update, but the other 2 are yet to be released, probably within the next coming weeks. But for the Omagio, we have the Gangbanger robbery. For the Bravado Fire, that's going to be the Duggan robbery, and for the Weevil, that is the cargo ship robbery. Now, I may have a guide breaking down each and every one of these robberies in separate videos, so if you look forward to that, also I'll put it in a playlist too. But overall, let's start off with the Gangbanger robbery for this one, because that's probably the one that almost everybody did because it pays the most this week, as well as the fact that it's the new Omagio. Like, I mean, obviously you're going to check out the new vehicle. So with these computers that these vehicles are showed to us on, this is like some memories. This is nostalgia right here, because this is like an early 2000s, late 1900s computer over here that Rockstar, for whatever reason, decides that this is what we're going to use. But anyways, to get set up, of course, we're going to Omagio, and you're going to see the different types of things that you have to do. So you have the scope out mission, as well as like 2 preps, and then also you have tasks that you have to complete too, and there's 2 optional. This is pretty much the same for every single robbery. Some of them might have a little bit less when it comes to the task, but that's just pretty much how it's set up. So for these scope out missions, these are pretty much simple things. You just go to the location, take a few pictures, and leave. So that's going to be how it is for every single robbery that Rockstar has. And for the preps, that's when it becomes a little bit different, because there's different things that you could do. Of course, there's different robberies. In this case, we have the Police Maverick, which has you stealing it, and then also the Tactical Gear, which has you getting police outfits. And then for the task, this is where a lot of people have a lot of issues, because you can't like start the mission from here. What Rockstar did is that there's going to be like these 3 bags, or sometimes there's 2 that actually spawn on your map. It's like these green bags, and you'll be able to go to those, and then that's where you actually start these tasks. And what happens is that once you go there, you click right on the D-pad or whatever option it says for you, and you'll call Jamal, then you'll just do whatever the task is, which, for example, like this one is getting a getaway vehicle. So, the getaway vehicle's in the area, and Jamal just kind of guides you, and the mission, of course, also tells you what you got to do. So you just go to where that specific item or whatever task it is, you go near it, and then that's what you just do. You just start the mission. So again, you have to do these in free mode. They're just things that are going to pop up on your map once you get started with that specific robbery, and then you get started from there. And then, of course, once you complete those 3 tasks, you also have the regular planning work and preps that you have to do. And then, of course, you have the 2 optional things, which is always going to be mask, and then you have something optional for each specific robbery. Now, in this case, for this robbery, I did end up doing the optional. That's because this was the first time around. I wanted to see how it was. But again, I'll be having a video kind of breaking down more if you should do it or not. In this case, it really wasn't that useful. But overall, once you complete them all, I think it takes around, depending on the GTA player, if you move fast, if you don't move fast, it should take around maybe like 40 to 50 minutes, maybe less. It's just how you play, how you kill enemies, how fast you move, if you have somebody helping you. So it's really up to you, but I think it should take around like 30 to 40 minutes per player when it comes to doing these robberies. And each of them are pretty much similar in time and pace, and some easier than others and all that. So again, I'll be having more about that in a separate video. But overall, before we even get into the robberies, let's talk about the salvage yard itself. So of course, once you pick the location that you want, the interior is going to be the same for every single location. And in the shop, you have locations for the vehicles that you end up stealing during these robberies. You actually don't have to sell them or use them for parts right away. You can actually just store them there for a little bit if you want to before you do that. Of course, if you have too many vehicles, they're just gonna obviously have to sell it before you can steal another one. And then on the other side, you have 2 places where you can put salvageable vehicles. Now this is what ties to the tow truck. Again, the tow truck has really nothing to do with the robberies, but this is something that's like a side task. So when it comes to the tow truck stuff, you just head over to the tow truck, whether it's the beater or the regular one. You hop inside. Again, you could customize it if you want to, but now you can get started with the tow truck service, which just pretty much starts a mission where you can just go and collect a vehicle that's legally parked or hasn't paid, Reaper type stuff, and you steal the vehicle, or I guess you hook the vehicle on, and then you take it to your salvage yard shop. Now there is times where there's not going to be cops, there's times where cops do spawn in. Sometimes I'm assuming the person that owns the vehicle is going to be there. Overall, you just have to lose the cops, get rid of the person. Overall, you know, it's simple GTA stuff, you know. And then you take the vehicle back and you deliver it to your salvage yard, and you'll be able to scrap, or your staff will actually scrap it for parts, and you'll be able to get money for that. Now in my case, I think it was like the blister compact or something like that, and it takes about like an hour, I think, to get the money from it. So you're not going to get it right away, so don't expect as soon as you drive the vehicle back to your shop you're going to, you know, get the money. Now keep in mind that you can only have 2 vehicles in the salvage parts, so you can't just keep, you know, towing a bunch of vehicles and then, you know, eventually it's just not going to let you do it. So it's only 2 at a time, and then once your staff breaks it down, you'll be able to get more. And then also, when it comes to tow truck, a lot of people probably saw this or tested this out. You cannot tow other vehicles that are not part of the mission. When you're on the mission, you cannot steal any other vehicle or tow vehicles. You can only steal the one that's specifically for that mission. Also, so far the tow truck cannot be used in free mode, so you cannot tow other people's cars, which does suck, but that's the option that Rockstar decided to go with. And there's some details and tips around the shop. There's a few things you can collect, like a hammer, as well as the med kits, and some other weapons as well. And if you go to the upstairs part, which is where like your office is, or not really office, but just like, you know, a little table, you have a TV, you have a bong, of course, you could smoke if you want. There's also, you know, a little tray of snacks that you can get free snacks from, just like, you know, in every other business. The wall safe, if you decide to get that as well, is right behind this poster, which is actually a cool spot to put it. And then in the back part, there's a place where you can change clothes, and of course a bed where you can spawn in this place if you want to. And then around the auto shop, of course, there's like little, you know, posters and little tools and stuff, and, you know, just makes it a lot more nicer. So overall, a nice little addition from Rockstar right there. So again, when it comes to the robberies, I'll be breaking it down more for sure if you want to get more into that. But that's pretty much how the new salvage yard business works. You come here and you can steal vehicles, and you can decide if you want to salvage them or if you want to give them to Yusuf or keep them for yourself. And then you can also do the tow truck missions here too if you want to. Again, we'll be having some more robberies that release within the next coming weeks in GTA Online to make it a lot more fun and just more interesting too. Also to note, there is no garage space. You cannot park any vehicles inside the salvage yard. It's specifically only for these salvageable cars and other cars that you steal. And it's just overall a business that's just kind of focused on just only specifically that. And then in the, you know, shop at this time, we have Jamal as well as like 2 staff people, and that's about it. And then you, of course, if you do enter there, and then of course you can do these missions and preps with people in your CEO or MC organization, VIP, whatever it is. And then they'll be able to help you sell as well if you have 2 vehicles that you want to sell at once. So for example, if you stole one from one robbery, one from another robbery, and you want to end up selling them at the same time, you can end up doing that, and then you'll be able to deliver it down to the terminal, which is, you know, the same place where the exotic exports is that came with the auto shop business back in 2021. And it's exactly why I do recommend not getting the Paleto Bay property, because imagine having to drive from Paleto Bay all the way down to the terminal. That's just going to take way too long. That's like 6 miles of driving from the top of the map to the bottom of the map. It's honestly something people don't want to go through. And the biggest thing is that these sell missions for these vehicles, of course, do have a potential of, you know, losing money, because if you end up crashing these vehicles, if you're giving it to Yusuf, of course, you have to take it to the terminal. If you end up crashing these vehicles, you do end up losing money from it. And so far, for the times I've done it, there hasn't been any NPC or like random civilian just crashing into my car. So that's good so far. But yeah, once you deliver to the terminal, you'll be able to get your payment, and then of course you can move on to the next robbery. So again, like I said, these robberies are weekly. So far I did all 3 of them, and obviously I can't do any more until next week. I'm assuming that the new ones, or even like it's going to be resetted most likely on Thursdays with the event weeks. So we're just gonna have to wait until next Thursday, not this one, since, you know, Rockstar kind of changed it up a little bit with the update to get the new or different robberies. I kind of wish Rockstar made it daily at least, but, you know, having to wait every single week is, you know, kind of the worst, especially since we don't make that much money from these robberies to begin with. The max right now is about $400,000, which obviously isn't that much. And even if you do all 3 of the robberies, it's less than $1 million, so it's not the best. So hopefully Rockstar changes that in the future. But again, we'll talk more about the robberies for sure in another video. So really the way to maximize, make the most amount of money from this business would be to, of course, sell all your vehicles to Yusuf. So every single week that Rockstar releases 3 new vehicles or 3 new robberies, make sure that you do all 3 of the vehicles, making around like 900,000-ish, you know, maybe close to $1 million, if not $1 million or more. And then of course, if Rockstar ever puts bonuses like double money or triple money, that's even more money that you can make from it. And then of course, make sure to sell to Yusuf and don't crash. And then of course also do the tow truck service where you can get some vehicles, get the parts from that, and that's also going to maximize your safe, and you take money from your safe as well. So that's the 3 best ways to maximize the most amount of money to make money from this business. So that's a full guide on the new salvage yard business at GTA Online. If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comment section. If you guys enjoy or found this helpful, subscribe, and of course put on post notifications, drop a like, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.